Alrighty, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just making sure everything's working out. Alrighty, let me make sure my face is actually popping up on the screen first on YouTube, and then I think we'll be good to go. There we go, everything's set to go. Alright. Hey everybody, hope you guys are all having a great day. Sorry I wasn't able to stream yesterday. Basically what ended up going on is I went to this crypto event in Seattle and it just took a lot longer than I thought. It was interesting, I learned a lot, met some guys over from Solana, which was pretty interesting, and just had an overall really great day. Today's video is going to not be so much about your daily Bitcoin technical analysis, although we are going to be covering that. I wanted to do a stream where I'm talking to you guys about different altcoins that I'm buying, because as we've kind of here, you can say hi to Loki. He's like really hyped up right now. I don't know why. Probably because he heard me go live, but he's still shredding his toys. Oh, good boy. Oh yeah. Basically, even though I rightfully called this move going down, it's, this is not an opportunity, I would say, for people to panic and sell out of any long-term holdings or any longer-term swing trades. Granted, they have no leverage maybe, but to me, this really gives us an opportunity to load up on altcoins, especially some of the altcoins that you guys might have felt that you guys missed out on over the past few months, right? A lot of us saw Bitcoin rallying, a lot of it Bitcoin spot ETF news and things like that. But really, it's like we have to still be in this bullish mindset for the long run, because Bitcoin halving is happening in what, like 90 days, 80 something days, maybe 100 days, something like that. Really after that, everything's going to kick into high drive. But before that, it's okay if we have a little bit of a pullback. That's nothing to be concerned about. If you're day trading and things like that, that's where we have to get more concerning, and we'll be talking about that in the charts here. But today I'm basically just going to be giving you guys 10 plays that I really like, going over them just a little bit. And then of course I'll answer any questions that you guys have, not necessarily about the coins I'm talking about, but really anything you guys want to talk about here, because today, I would say Bitcoin's probably going a little bit slow. I think a lot of the action's really happening in the stock market today, really not so much the crypto market, because we're looking at two different technicals here. All right, so let me go over here very fast, pop open this up, and let's just kind of break down what's happening with Bitcoin first, because everything kind of starts off with Bitcoin. So, of course, if you look at the weekly charts, we're about to go bearish in all the three signals here, whether it be the RSI, stochastic, and MACD. We've talked about this at length. I'm not going any further besides that. But we have broken down, and there are a few levels of support that we're probably going to be bouncing off of. I know I wasn't able to stream last night, but a couple days ago, I was talking about this level of support right here. You can see this consolidation right around here, and we were going to try to bounce off of that, and all we're doing is bouncing to make lower highs, and eventually we're going to keep moving down as the weeks progress here. But you can see we got pretty close to it, bounced right off of it, and now we're just consolidating a little bit more. If I were to go over to the 4-hour chart, you'll see, here we go, another lower high. Are we going to consolidate a little bit more and try to break out above that 20? We can, but ultimately the 20 has not been a very good indicator of things changing for Bitcoin. We broke out here, nothing. Broke out here, nothing. Broke out here, nothing. It's been a hot minute, right? And I think that goes back to the point we've been making is, if you look at the daily charts, they've been bearish for a long time, ever since we had that dump all the way back on January 12th. And since then, now we're having death crosses, not as good signs. But, even though we've had some of these drops in the past, we managed to kind of bounce back up. It's been hard for Bitcoin to get any traction. We're trying to get a little bit of a bullish move on the daily chart, just as the weekly charts are getting into all, full bearish mode. However, if you just zoom out and go to the monthly chart, as always, we're still in a nice trend. We're not coming back down to $16,000 anytime soon, at least, right? It would take something catastrophic at this point to bring us all the way back down here anytime over the next 2 years. Catastrophic. I don't think anything catastrophic's in the pipeline, so, let's see how that works out. But anyway, now we're kind of come over here to just altcoins in general, because you're going to see a lot of the altcoins we're talking about today having a similar type of move to what Bitcoin's doing. And ultimately, I think Bitcoin is where you want to be looking if you're looking to buy any altcoins right now. I go back to what we talked about last week when we were talking about a lot of people saying Ethereum was ready to pump. But then if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is ready to dump. If you have, if you're looking at two different coins, usually one's going to be Bitcoin, one's going to be an altcoin. If you guys see Bitcoin looking very, very bearish, not looking good, and you see this altcoin looking great, normally you're not going to make that trade. If you do, it's not going to be as much as you would normally trade, because you're trying to hedge your bet a little bit, saying, if things don't work out because Bitcoin's going down, at least I didn't lose as much money. That's the way I trade. You can go all in on the Ethereum type stuff if you want to, but usually Bitcoin will win out. It's rare that I see Ethereum lead Bitcoin in certain circumstances, but it has happened before. I would say it usually only happens in a crazy all-time high scenario, and we're not anywhere close to that. We still have like another 20,000 bucks for Bitcoin to go, which eventually it will go up that high, of course. Okay, but hey everybody, hey everybody, woo. All right, so let's get started with all this top coins. They're not going to be stuff you probably have never heard of before. Some of these you have heard of, some of them maybe you haven't. The first one is going to be Solana. Solana, you know, I've had a mixed history with it because of everything that happened last year, but I felt like I missed a little bit of this run up here, and I wasn't able to buy as much as I wanted to because it kind of had these few weeks in October where it just spiked a lot more than a lot of other tokens. It got on everybody's notice again. Everybody was looking for it. Everybody was buying it. And it just went too high too fast. So at this point, I was like, okay, we're heading for another level of resistance. Do I really want to be buying into this? Now, because just like Bitcoin, you see how we're breaking down below that level of support. We've kind of bounced off of this level of support, kind of like Bitcoin. I'm basically starting to dollar cost average back into Solana here. Maybe some of you guys want to wait to see if it comes all the way back down to like 70s range, or maybe even the high 60s. For me, I just want to start dollar cost averaging a few bucks every other day, so to speak, and I'm just going to wait to see whenever Bitcoin turns around. Maybe I'll buy a little bit more towards that bottom level, but dollar cost averaging without buying in heavy, I think is going to be a good thing for Solana. This goes for all the coins, of course, like I just said. If you guys want to go heavy into a position, you guys have been saving up a lot of money to go all in on Solana or any of these other tokens I'm talking about, or any token that you guys really want to, let Bitcoin kind of guide you a little bit. You know, you could dollar cost average split it up, or you guys can simply just wait for the market to kind of slow down a little bit and stop falling, and then it'll kind of go sideways for a little bit before making that reversal. You guys can always wait for that. I just find dollar cost averaging to be a little bit less stressful because, you know, I don't have to watch the market as much. You know, every other day around 12 o'clock noon, I buy. It's as simple as that. But anyway, Solana is going to be one of those picks. I don't think it's going to break down necessarily below that 20-week moving average here. If it does, that'd be it would be coming back all the way down to the 50s or so, which I don't think we have to go down that far. But of course, we'll see because it has pumped up quite a bit. Here's like pretty much the watch list of everything I'm talking about today. We'll be going over all of it really, and maybe I'll share this list with you guys. Hold on. There's a way to share this list. I know there is. Duplicate. Pin, share to community. There we go. All right, there we go. And there we go. All right. And hey, Pablo, happy to see you back, man. And Joe Murray, hope you're doing well. All right, there we go. So right now, I'm looking at Solana as an opportunity to buy. You can buy this anywhere, as you guys already know. It's for everybody. I mean, who doesn't like Solana at this point? It's gone up so high. They have a lot of transactions, and they're making a lot of money. This is just probably something for the long term here that I'm going to be buying more into. I'm not going to really go too much into Solana because I think at this point we all kind of know what it is. It's been around for a while, and if you bought it last year, you know, it's been very, very profitable. The next one I'm looking at is going to be ICP. This one, again, a very mixed relationship with it, actually. It's a few of the top ones, but I wanted to start off with some of those safer plays because they do have higher market caps. They might not be going parabolic over the next few years, but they'll make you a good return on your money. At least that's what I think, right? So I've been loading up on this one for a very long time, for quite a bit of time, even when it was back down here on the threes, even when it, well, not when it went down to the twos, but pretty much the threes, I was still buying this. And it really went because this had a horrible timing for when it actually opened up in the market, and you guys can see ICP pretty much was crashing throughout the most of its existence. Ever since we had the big boom back in October, a lot of the shorts got out, and we've had a massive squeeze, which has led to some really good profits, and we're even seeing some golden crosses here on the weekly chart. As this continues to fall down over the next few weeks, potentially as Bitcoin's coming down, this is also something I'm going to be looking at. You could even see the daily charts right here. They're looking like they want to have a little bit of a bullish move. The weekly chart is still going into bearish mode here, but this has a little bit more upside, I would say, because the RSI is bearish, the MACDs, RSI and the stochastic are bearish. However, the MACD is actually still a little bit fine. And you see how big that swing is right there? Yeah, my head's not blocking it. You know, so I think this has a little bit more opportunity. That being said, I'm still just going to be dollar cost averaging into it. The fact that we're bouncing off of that 50-day moving average, I do enjoy. I like it. But you can see how we're screaming down towards a death cross. We've already bounced off the order block once. I don't know if we're going to be able to bounce off of it twice. So dollar cost averaging seems to be the best way for me in this one. Keep an eye on if you want to see any type of potential breakouts. That could be pretty interesting. Maybe if we break out here, we can retest up here on $13. Every now and again, you do see this go against Bitcoin. Even though that may be the case, I'm still just going to be dollar cost averaging a little bit more aggressively, especially since it's down from these highs back around $16. That's one of the interesting things I would say about a lot of these altcoins, even not just the ones I'm talking about today, but in general. You know, right now, ICP is down 30% from its most recent high. That's a good discount. That's the way I'm thinking about it, because if you think about it from when I was dollar cost averaging back over here on $4 or $3, or even when I was dollar cost averaging, at $9 and stuff like that. In the long run, it does make you a good amount of money here. Now we can talk about ICP a little bit here. Let me back up there. There we go. Only reason I'm getting into ICP as part of long-term is a long-term hold, so to speak, is they're a legitimate company that's making a revenue. I don't know if they're profitable, but they are making a good amount of money. And that's the type of stuff I've been looking for. And it seems like they're actually going into the AI space just a tad. And I'm enjoying that. I think, how during the altcoin seasons and such, we kind of have these seasons within the season. And sometimes it's meme coins, sometimes it's the metaverse tokens. I think when it comes to 2024, I think we're going to have an AI craze. And so the next few ones that we talk about are probably going to have some AI in them, although it may not be the primary focus of what they're going for. But anything related to AI, I think, is going to have its own craze during the Bitcoin bull market, all-time high altcoin season, few months that happens. I think you're going to be looking at a lot of these altcoins making some really crazy profits, and you guys should be able to get some money out of those AI plays, even if they're at lower market caps. You can stick to tokens over 200 million or maybe over 100 million, but once you get below that, things get really iffy really fast. So just make sure you aren't investing too much into those lower cap ones, because anyway, if you put a little bit of money into a small cap coin, that a little bit of money can still turn into a lot of money. And it's has a higher chance of not losing you money, basically, if how do I say this in a nice way? It's just riskier to buy into coins with a little smaller market cap. Not every project works out, so I want you guys just to be aware of that, right? So ICP is going to be a good one. The fact that they're kind of in this mix between AI and infrastructure, I think that's going to be a nice one. You guys know I've been talking about infrastructure tokens for a while, just because there's so much reliance on them, especially if they're one of the large ones like ICP or Solana, that they can't go anywhere. They're making too much money. They have a lot of people using the platform. They're perfectly fine. And they just have a lot of chill people that work at these companies. Although, again, sometimes you get bad luck like Internet Computer, and then, when you first open up, you're opening up or your IPO, so to speak, is at the end of a bull market. And then, there's a huge pump up to like, what, $2,000, $3,000? I don't know if it went up that high, but, opens up around $250, and now we're at $11. It's come down quite a bit, for sure. Now, this one has a little more of a bullish chart than other ones just because of the weekly, so I do think we have an opportunity to probably get back up to $12. After that, we're probably coming back down. So I'm not too optimistic, but dollar cost averaging is what I'm going to be looking for in the short term. Longer term, again, those dollar cost averages will make me some good profits here, because I did miss out on some of the rally here. And that's the main reason I'm trying to buy back in when we're not at like, $15, but back at $11. Yeah, sure. I like that quite a bit. And hey, Shannon, happy to see you guys back. Hey, Cryptoholic. More downside, it looks like it as far as Bitcoin's concerned. I'll go back to Bitcoin after I'm done talking about these altcoins here, and I'll give you guys another lay down there. And hey, Ghost, happy to see you back. I know, right? I am bald. Bald is just easier. It's less maintenance. I have a bunch of hair care products, but it's just so much easier. All I got to do is put some oil on my scalp, and then I'm good to go. Makes it nice and easy. Keeps my head somewhat warm in a cold time. It's like bujuju oil or something like that. But yeah, it's nice. Am I doing with low leverage or spot? When it comes to these, it's what I can get, but I'd prefer to go low leverage. I can absorb the fees. If you guys don't want to deal with fees of holding long-term assets with leverage, I would probably just buy spot. I've been finding it easier on certain platforms, whether it be a Fairdesk or something else, to find some of these things only on futures and trading with leverage, even if it's just 1x leverage, it's been much easier to do that than to find some of these on spot. So typically what I'll do is, if you want to find the majority of these, you'd be buying them on crypto.com or coinmarketcap.com. Crypto.com, or Coinbase. That's where I'd buy a lot of these in spot. It's harder to find them on a lot of the trading exchanges that really focus and prioritize futures trading, leverage trading in general. It's going to be harder to find them in those spot accounts usually. So I would tend to say you're probably going to go to Coinbase or the other one I just said, crypto.com. I would say try Kraken. I don't have access to Kraken anymore in Washington State, so I'm kind of like out of luck in that regard. But I still think, if you have access to it and you can do it good, I'm just always worried about what a state may do. Like if I hold spot assets on any exchange or even futures assets, and you're saying, what happens when I get when the exchange gets in trouble with the government? They peak and say, we don't like this particular exchange. What happens there, right? So that's always my concern. But I think for now, either one is fine. Most people should probably go with spot because it's easy. You don't have to worry about the fees and stuff like that. But if you guys don't care about the fees, or you guys can absorb the fees, which aren't that much. Remember, they're like 0.00% something every 24 hours. It's not a lot. But, you'd want to be putting in probably a portfolio of at least like a $50 a week in futures trading with a 2x leverage. You're not going to care about the fees. But if you're putting in like, $10 this stock, $10 that with 2x leverage, you may be a little bit of annoyed at the fees because you might notice it a little bit, but I don't think it's that big of a deal personally. But some people don't like to pay fees. Some people just don't. So if you guys don't like to pay fees, don't worry about doing leverage trades. It's pretty much your preference here. And for some of these, you might not have a Coinbase account. You might not have a crypto.com account, as crazy as that sounds. Maybe your only option is to do leverage trades. Although I would say it's not too hard to open up a Coinbase account, right? All right. And hey, Richard, feeling really disappointed with Coinbase with slippage and spread. They ended up charging me 0.10% per Dogecoin. I think Bitcoin is going down around 35,300. Yeah, it can definitely go down more. And yeah, that's the problem with Coinbase. They really do have some crazy spreads. I think their spreads are a way to it's like an extra tax. That's the way I've described it. That's why I normally don't use Coinbase all too much. It's why that's why I really never use Coinbase. Coinbase to me is a money to point A, bank account to exchange account. It's that middleman basically. I don't like to use Coinbase all too much. I would try crypto.com and see if they're a little bit different, a little bit easier. I would say I have money in crypto.com just because of the smaller coins I can buy. I do not have a lot of money in Coinbase. Usually I think I have like those little fractions of coins that I just can't sell because it doesn't meet the minimum requirements. That's pretty much what I have in Coinbase. But yeah, all right. So after ICP, the next one I'm probably going to be going to is Fetch AI. I've talked about this a few weeks ago in another altcoin video talking about which altcoins I'm dollar cost averaging. You can see this is flushed down just like Bitcoin, kind of breaking down below that low. We're having a death cross. We have an order block back down here on 47 cents. Maybe over the next few weeks, we're going to be heading down to that level. But regardless, I am going to be dollar cost averaging into this one. Let me see if I can find Fetch AI right here. There we go. So just so you guys know, it has a smaller market cap of 500 million. The last two market caps are much larger. Solana, 37 billion. ICP, 5 billion. Now we're getting into the ones where it's more risky, but I think there's profit because the company is actually doing some really great stuff. So Fetch AI right here. Let me go over to the website very fast. Let's get out of the internet computer stuff. All right. Build, deploy, and monetize AI services, AI apps, AI marketplaces. So I like this. You guys could watch the video. I think if I played it, it would actually get me a copyright strike on YouTube, so let's not do that. But basically, transform your legacy systems to be AI ready without changing your existing APIs. They're pretty much helping companies make this shift using the blockchain to help them integrate a lot of the new AI things that we're getting into our lives into their old software. I guess they would call it legacy systems, but I'm not going to go calling everybody old just like that. But a platform to connect multiple integrations to create new services. This is what I really like about it. Skyscanner, Discord, OpenAI, Yahoo Finance, Slack, WhatsApp, and Google Calendar. To me, this really isn't for your everyday person as far as like who's going to be using this. This is for a corporation that's looking to modernize just a tad. They're going to be going to Fetch AI. They've had some Good project so far. I like what they're doing. You could learn about the developers and stuff like this, but basically just think about it as an AI token that you're buying in case we have an AI rally down the road. A few of these, like I said, are going to be AI related, just because I do believe AI is going to play a huge part in what comes next. And these AI cryptocurrencies are going to get a lot of publicity for very easily, and social media will kind of rally around them. When I see some of these tokens, I've already heard a lot of buzz on social media, and the buzz has died down obviously over the past few weeks. But if I go over here to X, I forget, everybody's changed the logo to X now, right? They have a small market cap, but they're already at 160,000 followers. They post a bunch of stuff. Today, the CEO of FetchAI went on CoinDesk Live to discuss, they're very active. The workers are going out. They've been grinding through the bear market that was last year, and they're kind of seeing the fruit of all that hard work paying off right now. Especially because I'm sure they probably have some tokens. They pay their employees in tokens and stuff like that. They're probably very happy with where the price has gone over the past year or so. But anyway, going over to right here, you can still see this one's heading bearish, just like everything else in the weekly. I want to see if I can get this back down here, kind of in the low 50s or high 40s. If Bitcoin really does crash down below like the 37,000, 36,000 level, you might see it come back down to the low 40s, which we'll wait and see basically. However, for now, I think dollar cost averaging is just going to be your best play for all these tokens, because you just don't know exactly how far Bitcoin's going to fall. We could go crazy tomorrow off of some Bitcoin news about an Ethereum ETF or something. You just never know. So I like the dollar cost average just so I'm getting some skin in the game. And again, when I'm looking at these types of tokens, I'm buying them now because they were up at the highs a while ago. This is about 27% discount of where it was just a few weeks ago. I want to take those discounts as they come up. And if we do bounce off of the 20-week moving average here, again, now I'm looking at a discount of around 40%. That's how I'm looking at a lot of these tokens here. But AI, I like it. We'll see what happens next. Let me get out of these tabs very fast. All right. Which one do I want to talk about next? I guess we can go with this one. This one is GRT. I kind of have more mixed feelings about this one just because it's been around for a while. It's not as popular as a lot of the other tokens, but it has a pretty decent market cap. It's number 49 as far as market cap goes, so it's like 1.4 billion. It's a good company. I'm just not as excited about it as other coins out there, but I would say there are a lot of people excited about this. You know me, I'm always attracted to those lower market cap coins that kind of have a little more buzz. This is fine. It's good. It's just not great, I would say. But there's a whole bunch of good stuff about GRT. It's pumped up quite a bit. Let me just show you guys here the last Oh, that's probably not going to give you the best one. I'll go over the chart on a trading view chart here in a second. But access the world's blockchain data, build faster, 100% less servers, spend less, increase resilience, subgraphs, industry standard data access, all this type of stuff. Another type of infrastructure / AI play. It's my two favorite things right now, and it looks like they're doing good work here. Got messages coming in. Sorry, I gotta turn off my phone here eventually. Actually, my phone's about to die, so yeah, it's at 5%, so it'll kill itself here in a second. It'll die in a second, sorry. But what do you call it? DeFi, NFTs, DAOs, analytics, gaming, view all. They got a bunch of stuff here. So they do have a lot of stuff going on. My big thing about this is really, what are they going to focus on? Because it seems like they're trying to do a whole bunch of stuff, and it always confuses me when they can't pick one avenue to go down, or they can't focus exactly what they want to do. Because right now this is access the world's blockchain data. There's a lot of ways to access the blockchain data. Let me go back over here to their X account. If I can find it, it should be at the bottom here. There we go. I love how everybody's updated to X all of a sudden. They got 319,000 followers. They're still posting. They're still doing everything they need to do. It's just there's not a craze about it, I would say. But going over here to the chart, actually I already have it over here, don't I? Actually, we talked about it a couple months ago now, waiting for the breakout. That breakout actually did pretty well there. And I mean, in hindsight, we still came back down, but if you were trading it for like a swing trade for a couple weeks, it ended up doing pretty well. All right, let's get rid of all this stuff though. Okay, this is like, I don't want to sound repetitive, but again, like all the charts on the weekly charts are heading to a little bit more bearish. I think this will give you a little bit more dip than a lot of other stuff. It was breaking down week to week to week over the past few weeks here, so we didn't really have a level of support like you guys would seeing with some of the other tokens out there. We've been breaking down, lower highs, right? lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Now we're breaking down below the order block slowly. We thought we might have had some support, didn't really hold up too much. Maybe over the next few days, again, like with a lot of other tokens, we can make a lower high, then continue moving down. If we're lucky, we may actually have a little bit of a pop before another dump here, because again, if we're looking at this the weekly chart, it's okay if we have a positive week, then we go for another few negative weeks, that's okay. But throughout these next few weeks, I am going to be dollar cost averaging to this one. This one is known to have some crazy spikes. That's pretty much like, from a technical reason, I love this. From a fundamental reason, I like it. I like the fundamentals. I love the technicals. So let me show you guys. The discount on this guy is already 33%. Let's zoom out to the weekly chart. Look how high this got. It's currently sitting at 15 cents. It used to be at $2.90 at the all-time highs. It'll get back up there during altcoin season. That's about a 1,700% increase, which I really do think is going to happen. I am ready for that. But basically, in the meantime, you see how there's like this double top up here? That's pretty much what we're dealing with. If you guys wanted to buy and only see this thing go up in the future, you would wait for it to break out above 22 cents and go higher. I'm just going to be dollar cost averaging and waiting for my waiting for this to kind of go parabolic. Again, this Binance chart probably isn't the best, because I think it opened up not here. I think we have like more data if we went to another exchange. But basically, I still think this is going to do well. I don't see this really falling down like, all the way back down here to 7 cents or anything like that. Although I wish I could buy it back then. But I do think, as being in the infrastructure space, the AI space, like I said before, it's going to be doing well. This is probably one of those things where I'm not going to be buying as much so quickly. I'm going to be buying maybe like for 2 weeks straight. And then I'm going to wait to see if we break down below the 50 and the 20-week moving averages. Because if we break down below those, then we can come all the way back down to 11 cents. And that's going to be a massive discount. And of course, this thing has had big dumps in the past. I think it could happen again, obviously, just because of looking at those last patterns. And then from there, I'm really just going to be looking at buying a little bit more in a few bulk areas. And then from, just not do as much dollar cost averaging after the first couple weeks. So a little bit different buying strategy here. But I do like the project. I think it's good. The technicals, though, and the way this thing moves, I think are going to be great. Despite having a larger market cap, which, the market cap, again, is 1.5 billion. It's number 49 on coinmarketcap.com. I enjoy it quite a bit. Let me go back over here to this one. You can see GRT last 90 days. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but it's been moving up pretty well. Internet Computer's been moving pretty well, Solana. And then we're going up to the next one here, which is going to be ELF. It's like AELF, but I just call it ELF because the ticker is ELF, but I can't pronounce the name to save my life. But let me open up the chart here very fast first. There we go. All right. Again, well, actually, let me start off with the market cap. It's a lower one. It's at 400 million. I still think $400 million market cap is respectable, especially since we've kind of dropped down over the past few weeks. I've been waiting for this drop so I can actually buy a lot of these tokens, because I don't know. I don't like to buy stuff when it's expensive, right? And especially when the weekly charts have been screaming like we're going to be going down for the past month. Why would I still be buying in those circumstances? That's my personal thoughts. Sometimes the weekly charts don't work and we kind of just go up, but traditionally they do work pretty well when it comes to Bitcoin, and that's what I'm usually looking at. Now, again, $400 million market cap. I know it's a little bit smaller. I still think it's good enough for me to hop in here. It's not like it's a $50 million market cap or anything like that. All right. They have a little bit of an animation when you first go to the website, which I actually think is pretty nice. I like these types of websites, especially when they work the way that's intended. ELF, I'm just going to call it the ELF mainnet. Oracle. I don't think it likes the fact that I'm streaming. I have Google open and I have all this software running on my computer. I even have my software checking thing back here too. Okay, but yeah, bridge all the existing ecologies. Eliminate all the heavy lifting, things like that. We're just going to scroll down because we don't need to watch the show here. But basically, easy for game devs, scalable for studios, secure for everyone. They're trying to go into the metaverse and create a safe space for people that want to go into the blockchain and want to create games on the blockchain. And there really isn't too many of those players out right now. And so this is I wouldn't say it's like an AI play. I would say it's more of an infrastructure metaverse play. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. It's they're building up ways for gamers to be able to build on the blockchain in a cheap way that's not going to cost a whole bunch of money. And then over time, I think you'll see them being used by more professional studios. What's the best way? Like, not like the Segas or the people that are making GTA and things like Rockstar games, but there are going to be a lot of studios that are going to be curious and they're going to try to learn more about this and they're going to try to implement a blockchain version of their games. I think that's going to be something great. And I think people are looking for different ways to get access to games and buy games that necessarily isn't going through the old Web 2 way, although you could have it Web 3 and a Web 2 way. But imagine buying an NFT, that NFT unlocks a game, and there you go. But now you also get the NFT, and now you also have the game. Things like that, there's going to be a lot of that stuff going forward. When it comes to NFTs, you guys know I'm always kind of skeptical about them. I think rightfully so, but, you know, I understand there's a reason for them. And I would say there's always a lot of companies that are working on these types of things with NFTs, doing airdrops and stuff like that. But after we saw FTX and all that catastrophe, that kind of put a hold on it. But they're still being, imagine getting the preparations done for a large project, but you haven't given the presentation yet. They're pretty much just waiting for an opportune moment to give the presentation, which I think is when things are going to get a little bit parabolic. So when Bitcoin's hitting all-time highs, everybody's like, woohoo, we're going crazy. That's when I think a lot of these projects are going to drop because they've been in the works for the past year or so. Nobody has wanted to pull the trigger, though, because, you know, even if there's a young, enthusiastic NFT worker at a company, like a huge company, they don't have the final say. Their boss's boss has the say. And so there's that bureaucratic system. But I do think they've been working with some larger companies. I do like what I'm seeing with them. And I'm hoping that they are going to have a pretty good move down the road. The only thing about this one is if we go to zoom out, right? Back over here, 2021, it came back up towards all-time highs pretty fast. Again, it's only at $400 million market cap, but I like these types of charts. You see how fast this rallied up over a period of a few weeks. This is from October to December, 263%. That's what I like. Of course, it's come down quite a bit since then, but this is why I'm starting to dollar cost average now and not dollar cost average when it was over here, you know, or even over here. There's only a few tokens I've been dollar cost averaging over here when it comes to, you know, what we've been talking about over the past few weeks. But anyway, that's, I'm just going to call it AELF. I want to call it AELF. AELF? See, it sounds like I'm making fun of them, but I'm not. I enjoy it. But you are seeing everything turn bearish. Their weekly MACD actually turned bearish yesterday. And then, of course, breaking back above the 20 didn't do anything. They had the death cross a while ago. Looks like they want to come back down at least to like below 50 cents, and then I'll probably start buying a little bit more aggressively. But right now, smaller dollar cost averages, and I'll see what happens next. This one's pretty nice, though, because you can buy it on a lot of other places. It's not on Coinbase, and it's not on Crypto.com, which kind of sucks. Well, actually, is it on Crypto.com? You can buy it on LKX, which I know some of you guys have. BitGet, I know some of you guys have. KuCoin, BingX, Femex, Mexi, anything else. So it's not on the other ones just yet. So you guys might have to live outside the States. I think I bought mine on, oh yeah, there's right there, Tapbit. Oh no, there's Crypto.com exchange. There it is. Yeah, not much liquidity though. You can see not much is moving over there. But I have mine on Tapbit. I don't even know if Tapbit's still around. I might have to move it over to Coinbase, Crypto.com. Well, not much liquidity there though, but it doesn't matter. Honestly, if you buy it, you know, if you have access to buying it, you know, you can buy it. But you guys don't have to buy it just because I'm talking about it, of course. Okay. I'm going to try to go down a list here so I can make it nice and easy. So we talked about this one, ICP, GRT. So we've talked about a little over half of them. We only got like 4 left. The next one is going to be RLC. RLC. Let me go back over here to my watch list, though. Okay, there we go. Doop-a-doop. This one breaks a couple of my rules, but I actually do like what they're trying to do with the project. They have a $158 million market cap. They're number 251, and they are not a high market cap at all. This is going in onto those smaller territories. However, what do you call it? The rule that I'm breaking is it's a $2 coin. It's not a 50-cent coin or a 0.001 coin, something like that. But the Web3 marketplace, build Web3 apps, again, infrastructure, trade computing assets, preserve ownership and privacy. Ownership and privacy are the buzzwords for me here. I think if you guys hadn't noticed, I think over the last year or so, because of everything that happened with FTX, cryptocurrency has kind of had a lot of the privacy stripped away. Now everybody's kind of seeing what you're doing a little bit more frequently. I think this year we're going to see a little bit more of a coming back to people wanting to have some privacy and not have everything being tracked. Not even being tracked, just, being watched, basically, right? So I'm thinking that this is going to have a good play here. Plus, Web3 marketplaces, those are going to be thriving here pretty soon. This is not an AI play. It's just kind of your typical, hey, this is a company, it's making money, yada, yada, yada. But ownership and privacy, I want to own what I have. I don't want people to know what I have. Two simple concepts. Some people don't care about privacy all too much. I really do like privacy, maybe because I'm an influencer and I just I like to have my stuff close to me. Although I guess I tell you guys usually what I'm buying pretty fast, but it is what it is. All right. Trust, confidentiality, governance. We built our infrastructure with these tenets in mind. By combining blockchain and confidential computing, we're helping to build the next generation of the internet where resource providers connect with resource users. All right. So basically, you're building a Web3 project. It's for you. If you have assets that can be monetized, that's going to be interesting. I think tokenization is going to be big going forward. There are people who want to see everything be tokenized. I get it. It's going to be very hard to do. But this theme as well, people want to tokenize. There are a lot of people that want to tokenize everything because they want to be able to say, I own this digital piece. This is mine. I own the original, whatever. And by doing that, because pretty much AI is going to be scooping up everything on the internet. They can make an exact replica. It's yours if it's on the replica. So whatever AI makes, it's theirs. But you want to say, I have the original. It's mine. That's what this is really for. For requesters, I'll read it, and you guys can tell me what you guys think. Maybe purchase on demand, unlimited computing power for your applications, access data to train your models in a trusted network, access innovative applications to solve industry-specific problems. I think this just kind of goes with the developer section. I don't think it's anything special, but maybe it is for people out there. But yeah, overall though, they got a few different things. For me, it's the Oracle Factory and the Web3 Marketplace. The Web3 Marketplace is something that I like. Computer nerds, that's not me, but they'll like the confidential computing and the ISEC SDK. Basically kind of sidestep Ethereum scalability issues, access our CLI and JS libraries, and execute off-chain computations via the IX decentralized cloud. Right? Nothing I'm going to understand, but the two things I do understand are right here, and I do like those quite a bit. Okay. Just because oracles are essential doesn't mean they have to be complex. Use your browser to create a custom oracle. There's no coding experience necessary. That sounds interesting because I have no coding experience. I think the only thing I've actually coded was a triangle. That's the way I'm looking at it. But going back over to the technicals here, we have a long way to go down. It looks like if Bitcoin does take a couple weeks of falling down, and I think it'll be nice just to start the process now of having those dollar cost averages going our way. But that's sorry. There we go. ILC, my bad. Total different chart. I think we're still going to be heading down here. This may take a little bit of time because it's just about to turn bearish. Weekly chart still bullish. It's mixed, but I would say still bearish. You can see this massive order block we're hitting. That's pretty much the issue at this point in time. Sorry, I got confused with the GRT. I think again, was it GRT? ELF? Yeah, GRT. But yeah, what do you call it? Makes it a little bit harder to dollar cost average into this one, but I think I'm still just going to start only. And I'm going to say this because not every coin is the same, as you guys know, only because that market cap is at 158 million. So if it hits billions and billions of dollars down the road, 158 million, no matter when I bought it, I think it's going to be fine. But I'm still dollar cost averaging here. I'm afraid that this thing may take off a little bit, because you see how there's a golden cross happening. There's no death cross happening. The death cross was over here, didn't do squat. Everything's still bullish, although the stochastic is looking a little more bearish. I still think there's an opportunity to go higher. I'm still going to dollar cost average if it goes higher. I don't know if I should, but I think I am, just because I want to get into this. And again, because the market cap is so small, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with buying in there, even though it's at a higher risk. which is crazy in for some of you guys might think, but well, compared to how I normally trade, it's pretty crazy. But I do want to get into this a little bit more. I don't know exactly what caused the interest in this. I like this one. I like it quite a bit, but I haven't been following their social media on a daily basis to kind of figure out what's hyping everybody up. I will go check out their social media account very fast here. Right? They only have 72,000 followers. They got some good media assets here. They have a pretty good way of understanding what's going on. But using AI and Web3, oh, I think they might have pivoted a little bit to AI here. ChatGPT allows what? Let's see. Talent Layer's latest app, freelancing. Oh, no, so they're not into AI. Sorry, one of the people that are using their infrastructure is AI. Okay, I see what they're saying. Okay. But yeah, stuff like that. They got a lot of good stuff. There's people liking their comments and liking their stuff. I think that's good. But overall, the chart is just kind of in a different mode than everything else. I still think it'll eventually come down because it is at a big level of resistance. If Bitcoin is not breaking out, why would this be breaking out? But sometimes things go against the grain. I'm still buying this though. Dollar cost averaging. Let's just be clear there. All right. Next one is PHA. This one is, of course, a little bit more bearish. Look at that daily chart. We're barely holding on to the 200 daily moving average. The weekly chart, we've already broken down below the 20-week moving average after being squeezed for a few months. Actually, we broke out, then it came back down, probably off of the Bitcoin stuff, right? But anyway, let's go over here to PHA. Well, actually, before we go on this, let me just make sure I'm catching up with you guys' comments. And thanks, Ghost. I appreciate it. I love being bald. It's just it's weird being bald at the same time. It's winter. It's cold. Slippage in what? Been in crypto 4 years. Never heard of anything like this. You bought Doge at 0.8, then you Doge is 0.8, and you paid the tiny fee for CB. What do you call? Oh, so there, a spread is basically the difference between the ask price and the buy price, the bid price. Sometimes in some places it's just higher than other places, so you're paying a little bit more than the market value, and nobody really wants to pay more than the market value. It happens every now and again in every market. It's not just crypto. There are crazy spreads on options and stuff that I do there. Stocks every now and again, but stocks not too much. As long as there's liquidity, it's not too bad. But when you see a lack of liquidity for something, you're normally going to see quite a bit of a spread. But Dogecoin, there is quite a bit of liquidity. People are trading it all the time. And that's what always confuses me about Coinbase. Those spreads feel like taxes to me. It doesn't feel like I'm getting the best value, which is, again, why I choose Crypto.com over Coinbase personally. Oh, hey, Monica. Thank you for being a member as always. Are you planning to hold over new Bitcoin highs? Well, a lot of my long-term portfolio is going, well, so okay, I have like multiple portfolios. Mostly when I'm talking about dollar cost averaging and stuff like this, it's not holding past the all-time high cycle. So it'll be all-time highs. I'll be selling off a large portion of my Bitcoin. Altcoins, I'll be about 90% out of all my altcoins. I'll transfer a lot of those tokens over to new accounts unless they have leverage, in which case I'll just kind of leave them there. Or I'll just sell the majority of it off, like 100% off of it off. After that, though, what you'll see me doing is just adding more money during the next bear market, more to my all-time like long-term portfolios, because we don't really have a Roth IRA option when it comes to long-term crypto assets. But when I'm talking to you guys about these type of coins and long-term holding, they're for the cycle. Once we start to see Bitcoin crash back down and we start to see the all-time high met, the death cross at the top of it, that's enough for me to sell on the majority of my altcoins. Maybe I'll sell like 80%, 90%. Oops, flip my eyeball up. And I'll see if anything cool happens over the next few weeks as everything's crashing. Sometimes altcoins still pop. Remember, Matic was booming and booming and booming, even though Bitcoin was crashing for like a cool month. And then all of a sudden it caught back up and had this massive move down. But I'm looking for some of those moves, which is why I'm keeping those last 20% or so. When it comes to those longer term portfolios, though, I just don't touch those, even in the cycles. I don't usually mess with them all. It's just for like tax purposes, honestly. I think they're fine. I like to hold stuff for quite a bit of time, but yeah, that's usually what I'm looking for there. I just don't want to mess with them all too much. You want to have those cycle ones. Those cycle portfolios are usually the best bet. It's more engaging. It's less dollar cost averaging. Because usually when I'm talking about a long-term portfolio, I only buy into those I only add to those portfolios in specific situations. The most basic is we have to be below the 100 weekly moving average. So when we're talking about Bitcoin here, before we go over to back to PHA, we can change this one. Kind of go back historically, 100 MA. When Bitcoin's below this, I'm usually pretty fine to like buy, even if it's at, Bitcoin 34,000. Dollar cost averaging for a long-term account, sure. Buy. Up here, you kind of give it a break. And then all of a sudden, boom, back over here, historically, you buy during these drops. I'm fine, I'm fine right here. I'm fine right here, because, it's long-term. And Bitcoin's going up long-term. Back down here, anywhere down here, you're perfectly fine. I was not buying Bitcoin in 2011, unfortunately, but you get my point there. Usually the 100 is usually going to be a good benchmark. You can tweak it if you want to. I've seen some people actually make it into a 75, right? So they start buying down here, or maybe you want to have a little bit more lag and move it up to 150. For me, you choose whatever you want to. 150 has done, I would say, outperformed, but I like to just be engaged in buying sooner rather than later. You guys may look like, oh my god, look at that resist. It's not something I use all too much. It is what it is. But finding your time to add up into those long-term accounts really does make a difference, because right now, I'm not even worried about my long-term portfolio. When we start, coming back down, fine. But I'll be buying more. But again, when you're thinking about like a long term, like 30, 40, who knows how many years, there's all it's going to take. It's going to be a while, right? So, you're zooming out, you're looking around, you're like, look at this, we're in 2023, just over here in 2030, 2031 right there. Think of how much higher this is going to be going up. If we keep on going at this rate, we'll be hitting some crazy levels, really crazy levels. All right, let's go back over here. MA, Lux Algo. Let's go to top crypto during dump, and let's go over here back to the PHA that I was talking about. There you go. This one, it reminds me a lot of ICP. It opened up at the worst possible time, and all it really did was go down, down, down. A spike, which almost kind of made me feel like Dogecoin, honestly. You see the spike we had back over here in October of 2022. Spiked back up after making new lows. Then all of a sudden, it's been kind of settling back down. I'm waiting for this to have a larger move. We're kind of at this bottom order block. I don't think we're going to be breaking down to new lows or anything like that. But basically, let me go back over here. Phala network. Small market cap. I would say this is the riskiest play of the day for a lot of people out there. $69 million market cap. You don't have to put a lot of money into this stuff to make money off, a good amount of money off of it. And this is the prime example. It's at 10 cents, which I like, which I know it can go higher if you go back over here just for a couple seconds. At the highs, it was all the way at $1.25. I know it's come down since then, but again, it's not going to take too much for it to get back up there because the market cap is so damn small. But again, that does make it more risky, which is why I'm telling you guys, this is probably the most risky out of all of them. So just be aware of that, okay? Now, let me get rid of all this other stuff here on the top. I got a bunch of tabs open and things like that. And it's also number 426 on CoinMarketCap. So it's a low one. Not in the 500s at least, but it's a low one, right? Scale Web3 by compute. Let's build, join the community. Again, another one of those infrastructure ones that I've been looking at more and more and more. And I think I just need to get more bullish on infrastructure, because as I'm kind of talking to these companies, like, I go to these crypto events, I talk to people out there, and I kind of learn more about what a company is doing. This could be a company like a T-Mobile, a Verizon, It could be something like a Solana, which is already in the crypto space. It can be something like a Microsoft employee or a Google employee. You know, around Seattle, you can find all types. Even a Boeing employee, right? Well, Boeing is like massive, it's like the largest employer out here. However, they're all looking for ways to hop in. And one of the names that was mentioned here about a couple months ago was this. I missed out on like really buying heavily into this just because. What did I do? Oh, I was just, you know what? I honestly, I just forgot about it because I was in Vegas and like hung out with people, went to Vegas, forgot everything that was said the week before because, you know, Vegas is just that fun. But anyway, you know, they work with a lot of people, internet, ChatGPT, Polygon, blockchain. You know, you can pretty much connect a whole bunch of stuff, which I think is really nice. Again, old world to new world. They're trying to hook people up and get them moving on in this new wave that we're going to be experiencing. This is, you're investing in a startup, not an established company. That's what I think you have to understand when you hop into this. But a lot of you guys have been looking for those cheaper ones to get in there. So if I go over here to Discover, there we go, blog, I would actually see this is something that's been pretty interesting. I might try to become an ambassador for this one. This is something I haven't bought any of it yet. I haven't bought any. They're not paying me to talk about them. Well, none of these coins are, but I own some of the other coins. Like I said, you know, I own Solana, GRT, most of that stuff. Fetch AI, you know about that for a while. But Phala Network, I just saw they're looking for ambassadors, community leader, and earn rewards. I don't know what that means. I probably won't do it, but I may do it. Heads up. Well, I don't even know if I'd be accepted. But anyway, you read their newsletters and you kind of see what they're talking about. They're doing everything a startup does. They're doing it well, I would say. They got some good partners. I would say mostly other startups looking to use their software, but you got to start somewhere. And if I go back over here, there you go. They got 117,000 followers. They're still posting. They're still getting lots of likes. They have a good community, and they have a how do I say this? They're in the crypto community. They're doing what it takes. A lot of times you see projects, but they don't go out and engage with the community. No matter how small the community or how large the community, they don't engage. They're doing a good job of engaging, which is why I chose this low market cap coin over a lot of other cap coins that I thought were interesting. This one, I do enjoy looking at them going into the community. Sometimes it's these really boring presentations, but for these coders up here who have all this stuff on their screens, they're very excited about it. Like, maybe, I don't know, but it's exciting to me to kind of see, again, onboarding new people into Web3. There's going to be a huge business for that, and it's not going to be the Microsofts that lead the way in this type of thing, or the Googles. It's going to be a lot of startups that understand blockchain a lot more, unless Google and Microsoft start shilling out a lot of money for it, which they're trying to do. But again, you got to have a lot of, it's better to do a startup, get bought out, than work for Microsoft, if that makes sense. Because, you know, Google and Microsoft are going to be buying up a lot of these little companies over the future, which is interesting. But, you know, I'm not the buyout type of person, at least at this point in my life. Well, I got nothing to buy out. I'm not a software guy. But I'm going to start dollar cost averaging into this, I would say sometime early next week, just because you can see we're breaking down below the 20. I think we're probably going to come down more and more and more, probably coming back down here to like below 10 cents, somewhere in the 0.09s. That's why I'd start dollar cost averaging and just waiting for Bitcoin to make another move. So I'm excited about this one, but I just want to be a little bit greedy and buy a little bit later on. But yeah, looking at that one. Next up, we have ONT. Let me go back over here. Okay. Before, let me just double check, go back to some of your messages and stuff like that. See, hey Cryptoholic, how do we know if the followers aren't bots? Elon hasn't figured that, or how's Elon figured that? I would say in part he has. Usually what I'm looking for are people with check marks kind of commenting down in their things every now and again, or just people talking about it with check marks. Usually what I'll do, this may seem very tedious. People don't do it much. I understand. If you guys know me, I do unnecessarily tedious things just out of peace of mind. But it's necessary for my peace of mind. How about that? What you're normally going to do is actually go to Twitter and kind of just search them. Like here, we can do this with Phala Network. So yeah, there's a labs right here. So there's other companies talking about this type of stuff. I'm already here. Too late. Billionaires. Well, let's go here to this random lady. Okay, Yuri K. 1,000 followers, crypto enthusiast, content creator, songwriter, poetess. You know, and you just go through the post and you see what they're talking about. Polkadot updates, so talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Seems to be a real person. You know, and you just kind of do that with a few people, and you see what they're talking about. She seems to be female influencer wannabe, not wannabe. I don't want to say wannabe, but she's, you know, trying to be an influencer. Sorry, my foot just started cramping. Ow. And then, you know, haven't a little bit on work yet. Finally enjoying something I really like. It's a real person, right? Real person. Talking about a whole bunch of stuff. You can see, kind of go from there, and you kind of follow the list and see who it is, that type of stuff. That's what I tend to do. You don't have to do it. I've done it for the companies we've been talking about today. But as far as like knowing every single person that's a follower, like this talisman thing, you know, I have no idea how many of these are bots or how many are not. I know Elon has been purging a lot of accounts and things like that, but I'm not going to be able to tell you with 100% certainty that all of them are not bots. I would assume some are going to be bots, though, if that's what you're talking about. There's no way to not know, right? Like, you could do work to make it a little bit easier on yourself, but you're never going to 100% know if that makes sense. What's right here? Anyway, Rumiko, happy to see you back, man. And hey, Tony, I'm doing well. It's been a busy week, but I'm doing okay. I've been working on that secondary cigar channel a little bit this week. I'm about to start posting more content there. Here, I've just been doing the technical analysis stuff and talking on the Telegram, and, you know, of course, doing the streams and stuff like that. I need to start working a little bit more on the course, actually. I would say I'm failing in that regard. And hey, Carl, happy to see you. And hey, Pablo. Oh, yeah, I forgot your mod now. Thanks, Pablo. I appreciate it. Okay, moving on to the next few tokens here. I know... we're still on track here. ONT. Okay, so this is another one here. Let me actually just break it down here first. Lower market cap token number 199. $193 million market cap. It just moved up to $194 million market cap. Now, before we start going into what they do, the monthly chart actually works a little bit better here. Like a lot of tokens, it's been coming down for a while. A very small market cap was back in the cards a few months ago. Like I would say like a couple quarters ago. It was probably around $100 million market cap. So this is a low market cap, more risky. I would say not as risky as the previous one, but still pretty risky up there. Go to the daily charts. You're seeing everything is bearish at this point in time. It's trying to have these little moves, but it's still ultimately bearish, hitting a level of support. I'm going to start dollar cost averaging into this one right now. The weekly chart still hitting some levels of support with the 20 and the 50-week moving averages. We'll probably break down below those if Bitcoin just takes that next lunge down to $38,000 or so. However, I still want to just hop in here and start buying some. I think I own a little bit of this so far, and I've owned it for 4 months or so. As you guys could imagine, it hasn't done anything in those 4 months. So this is a long-term play. However, it does do well when it comes to typical breakouts and change of characters and stuff like that. It still follows your basic technicals, which is good. All right, let me go over here to the website, though. All right. Trust redefined, bringing trust, privacy, and security to Web3 through decentralized identity and data solutions. So this was an interesting concept to me when I first started reading about this, because I was just, I scanned for low market cap tokens. I kind of do a little bit of research on them, see if I like them or not. What are they doing? Are they filling a need that really needs to be there? And this is one of those that I thought actually filled a need. So let me go over here to about, because I think it's better than just going through their, Ontology is building the infrastructure to provide trusted access to Web3, allowing individuals and enterprises are where you're going to make the money, to rest assured that through regulatory compliant digital identity solutions, users and their privacy come first. Again, we're going back to privacy, but also meeting the regulators where they're at. Regulators are going to get more and more aggressive, I would say, over the next few years, and it's good that if you can get the most privacy you can while still being in compliance, I think a lot of companies are going to be looking for that safety net there, because let's be honest, everybody will push it to the limit until the government pushes back. And so I think they're probably going to try to push it to the limit like everybody else and see where it goes. But they've been working on this all the way back since 2017. You know, bear market, 2020, things start going up a little bit higher. Maybe 2018, a little bit of a rally coming back. But, you know, it's really been a tough time. 2021, they were able to get a lot more stuff down, different layers, optimizing the Web3 infrastructure for adoption. This is the main reason I'm kind of excited for 2023. They don't even have much stuff on here. Mostly, I would say, is because it's such a big thing. So that's why I zoom out a little bit. I'm like, okay, they've been working on this for a while. Their token only came out in 2018, so not as far back as a lot of these other tokens that we like as far as the large caps. But you know what? It's been here for a lot longer than a lot of other tokens. Like you may see, you know, just other smaller market cap tokens at this point. It was around $9. It's been coming down. Their 2021 right here, it was not their all-time high. So this is a little bit of a different move here. This is why I'm talking about this more from a fundamental standpoint. You did have a breakout right here, if you can kind of just see that general trend line there. And we've been going sideways. I'm hoping that we move up eventually, and that's what's going to take. But this one is going to be interesting because you're really not buying for the technicals. You're buying for the fundamentals and what they're trying to do. And that's why I'm really excited about it. Like, how do I say this in the... Normally when I'm looking at stuff, it's kind of a mix of technicals or really technical heavy, and then there's like a little bit of fundamental analysis. This one's really more of the fundamentals and what they've been able to do. And you can see, even being one of these smaller tokens, you're only going to buy this until Bitcoin all-time highs and stuff like that. But just from some of the lows we saw earlier, let's not go all the way back down here. But when you started having these larger spikes, 138%, that's kind of the moves I'm looking for here. But I do think it'll flush back down a little bit, and that's kind of the opportunity to buy back into this. So let me go over here very fast. Oh, all these logos are getting smaller and smaller. My eyes can't see it. They have a lot of followers here. I would say only because they've been working on this project for quite a bit of time. They're kind of in these original OG crowd of startups, and that's the best way to say it. But they just haven't captured lightning just yet as far as making it so everybody wants to invest in it. I'm kind of hoping for that sometime over the next 12 to 14 months, I would say. So a little bit more of a risky one. Again, smaller market cap for sure. But again, they're doing some good stuff, and I like what they're doing. Let me hop out of this stuff very fast. I get so many little things popping up here really quickly. Okay, and the last one is going to be Worldcoin. I don't know if I skipped Ajax, but we'll be fine without it. You guys know I like Ajax for a while. The last one's going to be Worldcoin. This one has a little bit higher market cap, but I would still say low at $261 million. Let's go over here to websites. For every human, privacy first, owned by everyone. I actually like the website quite a bit. When everything is smooth on a crypto website, it just makes me think the blockchain is smooth. But they just launched World ID 2.0. I think they actually launched it a while ago. I've been following this for a while, but haven't pulled the trigger on investing it. But World ID for more human internet. Worldcoin for more human blockchain protocol. I think most people are probably going to be more interested in the World ID, but you know, for the future here. But Worldcoin is just a way to invest in that, and it will be, you know, you guys can learn more about in your own time. But basically, I'm excited to see if they get any traction with this. Basically, imagine an ID that works anywhere. It's a huge concept. It's going to be very hard to implement this, but it seems through the blockchain we may have some really crazy things happening in the future, and I think this might be one of them, where we're going to have different types of IDs, and it's not going to be, you don't just have to have a passport to get into a country. You can have a special blockchain ID that tracks everything, so you know who you are, has the information on it, things like that. So you don't have to worry about the passport and losing the passport type of information, which I guess can be a little more damaging to your, like, you know, your personal life, I would suppose. I've never lost, well, actually I've lost passports, but they've been like in the trash or something. It's not like they got stolen. I've lost but not stolen. Hopefully that works out. But yeah, here's another one of those where over the past few days you've seen it break down. This one was kind of interesting because it had, like a few other ones we talked about today, it had one of those really parabolic pops that kind of jumped up, like, I don't know, within 2 days it was up 100%. That's why I'm kind of okay with this price coming back down. But I'm looking to dollar cost average this over the next few weeks, as I think it'll probably come back down to maybe the low 160s or so. Maybe that's me being a little bit too greedy, but you can see it looks pretty bearish right now, coming back down pretty healthy drop. It's been here before, although this is, you know, 2023. It's definitely a newer token, which is why the low market cap doesn't really sting me too much. There really isn't much of a moving average on the weekly charts at all. you're breaking down below the 20, but you've only had the 20 here for what, since December, so not really the best. So there's not as much technical data to go over, but you can see that everything is pretty bearish on the 4-hour chart. You're seeing it make these new lows, low, 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 and I think this is a good opportunity to start dollar cost averaging into this one. But when I go over here and I'll go back to the website here, World ID, right? They also have an ID for apps, which I think is pretty interesting. A more human passport for the internet, more powerful, more flexible, more humans on your apps. I wonder if this is going to be a way to get around a lot of government regulations in the future. I don't think it'll be allowed to do so, but I'm interested to see how this works out when it comes for apps. And a more human passport for the internet, more powerful, more integrations, more human. And you can watch the video if you want to. I'm afraid of getting a copyright strike on it. But yeah, basically World ID, Shopify, Reddit, right? So you have an ID for all of these different applications, and it's connected to the blockchain. And as all of these companies eventually go into the blockchain, which I think Reddit's probably going to go into a blockchain phase. Talent Protocol, sure. Authenticity, probably sure. Well, they're already there actually. Shopify, probably. Imagine being able to sell your NFTs on Shopify, that type of stuff. Lucky Perms, gaming, maybe. But maybe they actually, if they're already on here, they probably have. But you get the point I'm trying to make. It'll be interesting to see how an ID like that can work if it can be legitimized. Which is going to take a lot of process and more expensive, a lot of money. But if it does work, this will be one of those parabolic ones you see in a few years that have just gone up like 100x, 1000x type of things. That's what I'm looking for. Well, probably 1000x, honestly, because, talking years down the road. Okay. Let me go back over here. And hey, what's up, everybody? What did I miss? Oh, I was just talking about like 10 coins that I've been looking at buying during this dip, because the way I've been describing this dip here as far as Bitcoin's concerned is like, I'm like, hey, we're looking at Bitcoin. We knew it was going to break down, and it's broken down. But I don't want people to think that they need to be selling everything, all the crypto they own, just because Bitcoin's coming down. I'm using this. I actually talked about it this morning on the Telegram channel. I basically said, well, let me just put my face up here because Loki's trying to do some crazy stuff. Okay, what are you doing? Oh, okay. He's being majestic right now. But what I was talking about is this is not an opportunity where you guys are going to be panicking and selling. This Bitcoin drop, as long as it lasts, we'll see. The weekly charts are going bearish right now. But this is an opportunity to buy a lot of the coins that you felt like you might have missed, because they're all going to continue going up over the next year. And, of course, remember let me just double check the date here. Yeah, the Bitcoin halving, I forgot, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's in 88 days. It's really close. In the scheme of things, it's really, really close. So I'm using this opportunity to buy up a lot of the altcoins that I missed out on, or even buying more that I want to buy more of, right? I maybe already have a small bag or something like that, and I just want to buy more of it. Those are really the ones I'm looking at buying into right now. So I just gave out a list of 10. You can rewatch it. If you want the easy version here, I'm not afraid of giving you that. There we go. Oh, it disappeared. Watch list. That's not the watch list I'm looking for. Buy during the dump. There we go. So you got Solana, ICP. Those are the safe havens, basically. GRT, AI infrastructure, Fetch AI, AI infrastructure. Lower market caps as far as Fetch AI is concerned. GRT, a higher market cap, but I wouldn't say it's in the safe zone like an ICP or a Solana. After that, AELF, $400 million market cap, getting smaller and smaller as we go down. AI infrastructure, I would say more infrastructure. Singularity, that one's fine. Worldcoin, that one's good. Fine too. I mean, they're all good, right? But Worldcoin, Ontology, IX, RLC, Phala Network. I would say the riskiest one out of all these is probably going to be ONT right here. Everything else, I would say, is going to be moderately risky, and less risk is probably going to be GRT, ICP, and Solana. I might even toss Fetch AI in there, but just for, safety purposes, so you guys don't go crazy, I would say Fetch AI maybe is a little risky, just because it's not even at $1 billion market cap, but it's been moving pretty well. It's up 100% in the last 90 days. A lot of these, except for Phala Network right here, PHA Network, they're all up in the last 90 days, And those pullbacks in that uptrend that they're still currently in, that's what I'm looking to get into at this point in time. From my experience, what do I expect to see during the halving? A whole lot of nothing, and then a couple weeks after, maybe a month after, things are going to tip up, pump up. You do see a lot of people getting very excited about it, I would say, but unless the technicals are bullish going into the halving, I think it'll be a little bit more boring, and then all of a sudden we'll just be spiking up after some type of breakout. So it'll be one of those two things. I don't think we're going to have any type of really crazy bearish moves unless there's some bearish technicals, but I kind of like that the weekly charts are turning bearish a couple months ahead of time. So we're in January, towards the end of January, February, March, April. It happens in early April, I think. So we got 2 months of maybe some consolidation and bearish moves. Then I think we're probably going to see much more bullish moves coming off of that right in time for the halving, and then we'll start to go up pretty nicely. If we're kind of more of a neutral territory or a little bit more bearish, that's fine too. We won't see any big moves coming out of the halving after that, if that occurs. But then things will still be going positive eventually over the next few weeks or even a month after that. Once that happens, we're all steam ahead. We'll go in full force. By then, I think we'll have a few other factors kind of in our helping us. We may see inflation come back down. I know it spiked up before. The dollar's been going up a little bit because of that as well. The stock market doesn't seem to care, but crypto seems to care apparently. But if we start getting some rate cuts, perhaps, I think that'd be another big move, big catalyst for getting Bitcoin up. But I don't think it's going to be some crazy move on the day of the halving, if that's what you're talking about. I just think that if the technicals are supporting it, the next breakout after the halving is where everybody's going to be, really excited about it. And hey, Ghost, comp, yeah, I can do that. Where's comp at? Comp's a nice one just because of what's been going on Robinhood. But basically, it's kind of, I'm looking at it right now on the weekly chart. It is at a pretty big level of resistance. It has that 20 and the 50-week moving average is there to kind of help it out. It hasn't really done anything in the past few months since November. It's kind of at that same price. However, go over here to the daily chart. Everything has just turned bearish, which isn't that's not the best. You're seeing it try to hold above the 200 daily moving average. It's usually a pretty solid level of support, but it looks like back in January, early January, it actually failed to hold pretty miserably. So you're just hoping to kind of hold on to what order block you have left. It's not my favorite at this point in time. If I was looking to buy into it and just expect it to go up, I might hope it actually breaks out here. But it might actually consolidate and come back down here towards $46, $47, maybe $44. And then from there, it might actually try to bounce up and have a little level of support, making a new triangle. And then from there, you're probably looking at a breakout if Bitcoin can only, if Bitcoin's not breaking down for weeks upon weeks upon weeks, which is going to be hard. Otherwise, if Bitcoin is making those moves, you'll see it actually come back down, probably back down here towards 38, high 30s, basically, a few dollar loss, and then consolidate, and then it'll have that breakout. Either way, it still seems bullish in the long term. It's just had a really rough, I would say, few quarters. Mostly because you guys can see it had this abnormal pump back over here in June of last year. It died all the way back down, so it kind of went through its own bull cycle, like boosting up how much? 234%, crashing back down probably 80%, and then kind of grinding back up. Let's get rid of all the technicals again, or the drawings again. Right now it looks like it may try to make another higher low in the scheme of things. It's not going to fall down below $35, but anywhere you're buying it below $46, I think is going to be a good opportunity. From there, it'll probably have this turnaround, have a good move. The weekly charts have been kind of more mixed, it looks like. Kind of, really mixed right here, actually. But it still looks okay. You're basically fighting against a downtrend here. So the weekly chart is bullish, or it's mixed at this point. It's mixed. However, we basically just broke down this, whatever uptrend this was, it's over. And we're kind of going sideways. And now on the daily chart, you're seeing everything turn bearish, which could lead to the weekly chart turning bearish, or at least more neutral, I would say, over the next few weeks. But this chart has just gone nowhere. It's the same price as it was back in November, unfortunately. So it's fine. I'd be using this as a time to buy more down the road, just because comp goes crazy on Robinhood and other exchanges during the altcoin season, and because everybody has access to it, which is always a very nice thing, to see. All right. But okay, everybody, I'm gonna end the stream right here. I'll probably be live a little bit later on tonight. I'm gonna go make myself some food. I haven't eaten yet today. All I've been having is cups of coffee, mostly because I woke up late, and then I'm gonna go take Loki outside because he is he's been whining this whole time and keeping his head on my lap. Come up, Loki. It's like he needs a toy to come up here. He's been shredding all of his toys lately. Well, he's always been shredding his toys. Up. Oh. Yeah, so he's been having a good time. I've been playing with him outside a lot more. We've been going on more walks, so he's been enjoying all that. But then he gets too tired because then he just falls asleep, which I guess is a good thing for me. That way I can get more work done. But yes, I got out of the position because of that. Yeah, it makes sense at this point just because of the way Bitcoin's been going. If it's a long-term position, you could hold it. It's not going to be hard to weather the storm, so to speak, but it's just easier to, if you're like swing trading and stuff like that, it just doesn't look the best setup right now, especially with Bitcoin making these moves. It just looks very sideways. It's been kind of boring. It seems like a place you just want to park money and expect it to go up in the long run, but the short term definitely doesn't look as exciting, right? So I'll see you guys a little bit later on tonight. Most likely, I'll let you guys know if I'm not. Maybe it'll be a little bit of a later stream since I'm already streaming here, but we'll see. Thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.